All right, so I'm going to show you how to make a Greek salad, which again is all cutting. There's no cooking involved. Just going to be chopping a green pepper. You could use a red pepper, yellow pepper if you wanted, cucumber, some red onion, some cherry tomatoes, since I did some plum tomatoes in the last demo, with some Kalamata olives, which are the black olives that are pitted, and some feta cheese and some chickpeas. And there's my feta cheese. Excellent. So again, this is just going to be an exercise for cutting vegetables. The tomatoes I'm going to start with, very super easy. Since I showed how to cut really nice dice with the plum tomatoes in the pico de gallo video, all I'm doing with these is cutting them in half. These are some nice cherry tomatoes. The Greek salad should be chunkier, obviously, than a salsa. Or maybe not, obviously, I don't know. And I'm cutting the tomatoes first, and I've cut more of them. I just didn't need to show cutting a bunch of them. Is I want to keep a couple of them to the side because that's the size that I want to cut my peppers and my cucumbers. So I can use them as sort of a gauge. Now, this is a hothouse cucumber. It comes in the saran wrap. I removed the saran wrap. And what I'm going to do to make it easier to slice, I'm going to cut them in half and then cut them into quarters and try to get them as even as you can. I like the hothouse cucumbers because they tend to be a little bit more evenly shaped, whereas some of the other cucumbers are curved and they have like a really thin end and a really thick end, and it's just easier to get a basic shape with this. So what I really want is I just want to kind of get pieces that are about the size of my tomato. So I can take the cut of the cucumber and just cut them into a very large dice that kind of matches the size of the tomato. Everything should sort of be in proportion when you're making a Greek salad. If the tomatoes are too small in comparison to the cucumbers, it looks a little odd. The one exception being the onion. We're going to cut the onion up nice and fine so it kind of mixes in really nicely. So see, when we add this to our tomatoes, it looks like it makes sense. One's not huge, one's not small. They're nice. Again, the other cucumber, you can take the seeds out of this if you want. If you do that, you just kind of take your knife and cut the seeds out. Some people don't like the seeds. It doesn't really matter. They don't bother me. Again, this is just an exercise to practice getting knife cuts that are the size and shape that you want them to be. So I got my cucumber, I'm gonna add my tomato in there, actually save one. I'll show you how we're gonna do our pepper. With my pepper, I'm going to cut off the ends. I'm gonna cut down one side and then open it up. When I open it up, I'm gonna take my knife and then I'm gonna just scrape through and cut out this white stuff that's in there. This is trash. If I was grilling it or something, I could leave that on, but the seeds, they're not hot the way that jalapeno pepper seeds or anything. So then I've got a nice flat piece of pepper. And again, to give me the size of the tomato I want, I'm gonna basically cut it around this size and then cut this into thirds. So again, that gives me a size that looks like my tomato. Makes sense, it's proportional. So I'll go through, practice. If you need to keep that tomato there to kind of help you get relatively proportional sizes, you can. If you want to start eyeballing it, that's even better. And get pieces that are a little too big or a little too small, I can always just put them to the side. But the whole idea is we want to keep our slices even so that they look nice when they're in the same bowl together. And I will add these, clean off my board, and show you how we do our onion. Now what I want to do for the onion is, while the other pieces were sort of relatively proportional, I'd prefer to have my onion be a little bit smaller so you're not getting a big chunk of raw onion in your mouth while you're eating it. So in the same way we did with the salsa, the pico de gallo, I'm going to cut really, really fine pieces. But again, not cutting through my root. This is more sort of a flavoring agent rather than a main ingredient. And then cut them really nice and fine. Now they're all relatively, they're small, but they're proportionally small with each other. So they look really nice when they're cut together like that. Now we will assemble our salad. All right, to assemble my salad, I have got the green pepper, the tomato, the cucumber, the red onion. I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice. I'm making one portion here, so I don't wanna make too much since it's just myself. A little pinch of salt, a little pinch of black pepper, some chickpeas, and then really nice olive oil, just a drizzle. It's just kind of a dressing on there. And then I'm gonna toss this up with a zest of lemon. Toss it all around. Everything that's mixed up. Yeah, super easy that is. And I'm gonna put that in a nice looking bowl. Tomatoes, my cucumber, my pepper. I'm going to put in a little bit of feta cheese on top. If you were making this for a picnic or something, you could stir it right in. But I find as the feta cheese sits, it starts to get a little juicier than I would like it. I'm going to put just 3. Let me make sure, well, some of them don't have the pits removed. All you want to do to remove a pit is you just squeeze it. Oh, there we go. Squeeze it and pull out the pit. I'm glad I checked that. I could have broken a tooth. Squeeze it, pull out the pits. There we go. A little bit of that, and then some fresh oregano on top. You could put dill, you could put mint, whatever you want. Could look really nice there. So that's our Greek salad. No cooking involved, just knife work. Delicious on its own. You could have it with a side of grilled chicken or at a picnic. Super, super nice. Great way to practice stuff with your knife.